Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Ooh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 441. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Hello. Welcome back to the show. Happy to have everybody here on this beautiful, whatever day you're listening to. It's beautiful whenever you're listening. Could be Wednesday, could be Thursday. Maybe you're a slacker. You waited for the weekend. But you're here. And that's all that matters. So go ahead, find your way over to the YouTube channel, subscribe there. Make a couple comments somewhere, share it with family members, talk about us at parties, whatever these kids do nowadays.
Share the stream. If you're hanging out with us live, share the stream.
Also true.
Retweet it, repost it.
Join us in the chat.
Greatly appreciate it. Oh, most importantly, join us in the chat.
Love that. You're going to do it to me right away? What is this for? What do we have?
Oh, you
What's
know
happening?
what this is for. You know what this is for. Tell me if this sounds familiar.
Jorge Lopez just got DFA'd by the Mets. Apparently he threw his glove.
You know, honestly, though, good on him, dude. Like, you know somebody's going to pick him up, but what a way to just get out of town.
No shot.
Absolutely somebody's going to pick him
shot.
up. Are you kidding me, dude?
No shot.
He wanted to get out of he wanted to get out of Queen. We have guys in this league that have abused women. Like, he tossed his glove in the crowd. Spare me that nobody's going to be there. Isn't going to be a team that's not going to pick them up.
That
Come
combined
on.
with the comments, no, he's done.
Breaking news. Jorge Lopez. The Cubs and Jorge Lopez are in agreement on a minor league deal per Will Salmon.
This is a classic twist of words. This is a classic.
No, I had to jump right. No, I had to
context.
No, I had to jump right into it with the breaking news.
This is a pretzel job, is what it is. You're just pretzeling this into something. Here's the known.
Did
facts.
you or did you not say that somebody would pick him up? You said no, he's done.
Pause.
He said absolutely nobody's picking him up, and I said
pause.
We have wife beaters in this league. You're telling me some guy threw his glove in the stands and nobody's going to pick him up?
Pause.
That's insane.
Was a live reaction moments after it happened. The next day, we come to find out that that's not what he actually said.
Yeah,
and then the next day we find out all the stuff happening with his family.
No. Yes and no.
I wouldn't have reacted the same way if I knew those things.
No. Yes and
Pretzel
no.
job.
He gave him a chance to double down on it, and he doubled down on it.
No.
So
you know what you doubled down on? You stopped over by the mall today. You picked up an Annie Ann's with a little side of cheese cup, side of mustard, and
I don't get cheese with cinnamon sugar pretzels.
Pretzeled the hell out of this thing. Is what you did.
I called you on
good call on the cinnamon though, for sure.
I called you out for saying that nobody in the league would be willing to take a chance on Jorge Lopez. I had to address it off the top. I had to address it. I had to address it off the top. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to boo you. I'm going to boo you. I'm going to boo you. I had to address it off the top.
Pretzel.
It didn't even we didn't even have to wait till after the All-Star game.
Pretzel.
We're not even officially at the middle of June yet, and they've already picked him up. So just wanted to address that before we got into the rest of what we had to talk about tonight.
It's ridiculous.
Just acknowledge that you were wrong.
No.
Did
a live reaction.
Did another team pick him up? Yes or no?
Live reaction.
Answer the question. Did another team pick him up?
I refuse. I want my lawyer. I'm not answering anything until he's present.
Facts don't care about your feelings, Nate. This is well known. The fact is, a team picked him up. Speaking of a team picking somebody up, Cavan Biggio headed to the Dodgers. And look, the big question here is, can the Dodgers fix Cavan Biggio? To which I say,
they fixed Jason Hayward.
Yeah, but like, what's a better comp though? Can we look at a guy like, is it too much of a stretch to say Gavin Lux? Can we look at Gavin Lux as a comp here and say, well, what have they really done with Gavin Lux?
No, bad comp.
More so than Jason Hayward, and not just because Gavin Lux is white.
Gavin Lux blew his ACL. What are you saying? What are you comparing? What are you comparing exactly?
Their ability to fix Cavan Biggio. You look at a guy like Gavin Lux, where it's like, oh, there's this promise, there's this ceiling. Well,
you're saying a higher what? You're saying what the Dodgers can do with
right.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I was just saying that there's ways of tapping into a guy. There's ways of finding it. I want to say yes, because there's like enough. I don't think the confidence has dipped that low. You know what I mean? Like, Gavin Lux is in a tough spot because it's like you were thrown into the deep end with a lot of pressure right away, then had an injury, then moved away from shortstop because your arm doesn't work anymore. That's why I thought Jason Hayward, because it was like you just didn't tap into what you're capable of yet. And maybe that's the case. The other thing is that, like, he's only ever been with the Blue Jays. So maybe there's a new voice that can come into the head. You know what I mean? You're surrounded by guys that have already been established. Whereas like the Blue Jays, like the rest of your team is like guys that you came up with, like Bichette and Vlad, and like those guys have been like, hey, we've now established our name being on this team. You came up with us and you still haven't established yourself. Not that they're saying that, but that's kind of what it feels like. So I feel like the Dodgers might be able to do it. I don't know, man. It's annoying. Also, I think this tells me that I think the Chris Taylor thing is all done.
I saw that question being raised a good deal in the last, or I guess it was today's. Yeah, today, which is a fair question.
Yeah, like it was. I don't see the need for a Kike and a Chris Taylor at the same time. You know what I mean? And it seems like Kike he's obviously younger. He's more athletic. Seems like he hits a little bit better, more consistently. And Biggio has like proven that he can bounce around a little bit. I could see something happening. Not that I'm like overly excited about the move. I don't anybody that would have made that move. It just doesn't do anything for me. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be open here. I am not overly familiar with like the whole DFA process. Is it like DFA goes through waivers, Dodgers say yes, and then they can talk trade, and then that trade has to happen within a certain window? Or is it like, if you're the Dodgers, why not let him pass all the way through waivers and then get him for free? Well, am I getting that right?
Well,
is that the scenario?
I mean, if you let him, you run the risk.
You run the risk of other, but
sure.
Like, let's be honest. If waivers are anything like any other waivers anywhere else, like whether it's fantasy baseball, football, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and assume the top teams are at the bottom of those waivers, right? Like the worst teams are gonna get first dibs. Am I right?
That I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I would
don't know
assume
how
that's the case.
I don't know if the order resets. I don't know if
that's what I'm wondering. Like, does it shift at all? But I would assume that it's based on record. That's what I would guess. And the Dodgers being who they are, doing what they're doing this year, I would assume they're at the bottom of that list. So it's like, were you fearful of who's left? But I don't, record wise, is it just like the Yankees
Phillies
and the Phillies and the Orioles?
The Phillies snagging them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if that's how it pans out, if that's how the process pans out, then yeah, that would be a pretty minimal concern. But it's also possible that it goes a different way, and maybe they just wanted. I don't know.
So you'd have the Guardians have a better win percentage than the Dodgers. Wow. That's crazy. So it would have gone Guardians, Orioles, Phillies, Yankees. That's
Again, this is based on
if this theory is correct.
If that's how that works, which I'm not 100% solid on. I need to
study up.
Study up on that process. But
yeah, probably should have done that before, but whatever.
It was a trade nonetheless. The Blue Jays in exchange are receiving right-handed reliever Braden Fisher, who's been both in AA and AAA this year. Was a 4th-round pick in 2018. Has 30 Ks to 15 walks over 19 innings and has posted a 5.68 ERA. So you can, I would venture to assume that the Blue Jays,
they just swap lottery tickets. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Hey, we're tired of this guy. We're tired of this guy. You down? Let's do it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised it took him this long.
I am too. When I saw the numbers, when I saw the tweet about like it first happening this morning, I saw like a career. What was the career OPS? The career OPS was not good. I want to say like 6 something.
Career OPS 725. This year it's at 614.
Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
He's slugging what many would consider a pretty strong average. He's slugging 291 this year.
Who knows, man? I can't sit here and say it's stupid or crazy or anything. Like, you see guys get second chances. You see guys that, like, look at Nathan Eovaldi. Perfect example of, like, the Yankees had him, the Marlins had him, and it just didn't, like, really click until he moved on. And all of a sudden he gets with the Red Sox and it's like something clicks and he takes off. Like, that's why these guys kind of bounce around and find later opportunities in their career. I think he's young enough to where like he still may be coachable. It's in an organization where there's no pressure. You're around like solid, arguably the most solid veterans you could be around, as far as, hey, like it's all good. We're, pulling the rope in the same direction. Just help us pull it. And whatever you give us is whatever you give us. Lottery ticket. Why not? I'm trying to jog my memory of like seeing something in any of his play that's like, ooh, there's something there. Like if you take the last name away, is this still a thing?
Yeah, what are we really looking at here if you take the name away? Yeah,
right.
It's a valid question. But to your point though, I feel like I've seen, or I've heard, I've read, I've seen more this year than I have, I feel like, in seasons past or years past, the importance of maybe getting linked up with a different coach, whether it be, in this case, hitting coach. Some other guys, maybe defensively, there are struggles. I've heard a lot of arms relocating to a different organization, getting hooked up with a different guy, or a pitching coach coming to a different team, such as Andrew Bailey coming to the Red Sox, revitalizing there for a while, kind of tapered as of late, but you get certain minds, certain brains in the same room.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
In a different setting than maybe they were in last month, and you might get a much better outcome. So it's possible that happens here, but I mean, I guess if there was a team, if you're Cavan Biggio, that you would hope that this would happen on, maybe go out to LA, maybe figure something out there. I'm not gonna rule it out. I'm not writing him off. I'm just to your point though, we haven't seen much to really latch onto up to this point.
It also, like, you gotta have the open possibility of, like, do we get news on some type of injury? Is it Kike? Is it Chris Taylor? Are one of those guys hurting from something? And
I know Max Muncy, I believe, is on the IL.
Yeah,
like an oblique issue or something. But
yeah, like, it's something more serious than we haven't heard about it yet. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's a valid question. Let's switch gears here. Paul Skenes. We're about a month into his major league career. Made his debut. That's actually when we were in Nashville. That would have been like May 11th, I think. So yeah, we're about a month. About a month into his major league career. Made a start in St. Louis last night. Getting my days mixed up. Last night, threw 6 1/3. Most pitches he's thrown at the major league level, 103, which topped,
love that.
I believe his previous season high of 100. 100, yeah, over the Cubs. 6 1/3 innings, 103 pitches, but it was the end to his outing that's got people talking. A standing ovation on the road in St. Louis. What are we thinking here? I can see it both ways. I'm not quite sure once we're done with this conversation which way I'm going to be leaning, but it's interesting. It's really interesting.
Tuesday's game, right?
Today's Wednesday. Tuesday night, yeah, in St. Louis.
6 1/3, 5 hits, no earned, no walks, 8 punches.
Gets a standing ovation.
I think it depends
fans.
on the teams. I think it depends on. There's certain teams that can do this. There's certain teams where you let it slide.
Mind you, they're in the same division.
I get that. That's a very valid point.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I know you came after them for the postseason.
I still haven't let it go. What was that? That was 2 years ago at this point?
It was. You hold grudges. You really do.
The 2022 postseason, I think it was.
Yeah. I've let that go. I don't hold grudges. I'm a bigger man. I'm that big.
You absolutely are. You're not even going to deny that. I mean, come on, man. The best fans. You're calling yourself the best fans in baseball, and you're walking out in a postseason game that's far from over. Come on.
I'm not going to say that. I agreed with you then. I'm not freaking out and saying that they're the best teams or the best fans of baseball, but I think they're good baseball fans. I got a soft spot for the Midwestern folk. You know what I mean? The Midwestern folk, they're good, hardy people.
Real salt of the earth.
The salt of the earth. Dude, we talked about the Royals. You know what I'm saying? We talked about, like, these people, it's just, they're out here working their fingers to the bone. They're just good people, okay? I think Cardinals
we've been doing this podcast a long time, and I can't remember the quote exactly and whether it was you or me that said it, but I specifically remember making a quote graphic that talked about the Cardinals fans being the best in baseball. So at one point, I said that, at one point, I was a firm believer in that, but I'm still a little hung up on the 2022 postseason. That's all.
It's tough. And it's here's the thing, man. It's like they're not getting to witness the best baseball recently. It's been pretty tough in the Lou. It's been average baseball at best. And maybe they're just a little hungry for some good quality starting pitching. Now, to be fair, our boy, friend of the pod, Miles Michaelis, also diced that night.
He did.
So
that was quite the duel.
Let's not forget that. I just think certain scenarios, okay, it's not a postseason game, obviously. If this happens in a postseason game, I'm vomiting. I'm throwing up into my mouth. Regular season game.
That's going to make a nice quote graphic.
Perfect. The Cardinals are they're just in shambles lately. And I think if you're a baseball fan, and that's what I'm trying to get to, Cardinals fans are not just Cardinals fans. And we can't say that about every team. I think there are absolutely Yankees fans who are just Yankee fans. There are just Houston Astros fans who are just Astros fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Cardinals fans are more baseball fans than not. So getting to witness a 1-1 that dices and is in the middle of this hype train, is trending, whatever the buzzwords you want to use, I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying really hard to separate the fact that it's Paul Skenes from this situation, but you can't ignore the fact that it's Paul Skenes. Because in my head, I'm trying to go, well, if this was any other guy that diced, are the Cardinals fans doing this? But it's purely because it's Paul Skenes. I get it, but still, even though it's Paul Skenes, it's an interdivision starting pitcher walking off the field, and I've got Cardinals fans tipping their caps. They cut to one guy. I watched the video. They cut to one guy. He's tipping his cap. I'm like, buddy, do you see what logo's on your hat?
It is a tough look. I for sure understand that. They're 7.5 games back, man. It's just
I look less into their struggles right now and more into just the act of giving a guy standing ovation. Like, to me, I don't care if they're at the bottom of the division. I don't care if they're leading the division. It's just like,
I think it's a part of the equation because the people that are going to those games right now are not rooting for their team to go take this pennant. You know what I'm saying? I think those are realistic fans who are also baseball fans, and they're looking at an opportunity. Like, tell me you wouldn't be excited if you lived in the Lou, you're 7.5 games back, you're at the bottom of the division, and your team sucks, your manager sucks, your superstars are getting older by the day, and you're like, you know what? I want to go to a game. It's Tuesday night. Who's pitching? Skenes is here? I'm absolutely going.
That's the point. I'm trying to put myself in as a Red Sox fan, like it would have to be somebody within the division, rule the Yankees out, because we're not talking like Cardinals Cubs here. This is Cardinals Pirates.
Right.
So it'd be like if the first and easiest thing that comes to mind for me is if Grayson Rodriguez, if the O's come to town, Grayson Rodriguez, who had a fair amount of hype himself, not nearly the same level, but
no, I don't think that's a good comp. I don't think it's a good comp.
Who else can you put in that situation?
It has to be a team that's been a punching bag forever. It's almost like the Cardinals fans can look at the Pirates and be like, you haven't been a threat in a long time. I'm going to throw you a bone with this standing up. I don't think that's the math that they're doing in their head as they're standing up, tipping their cap. But I think a comp would have to be like if you're a Phillies fan and you see a Marlin get drafted 1-1 and he's a superstar in the making and you get to see a start from him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you've never been a threat to us. We're okay giving you this.
I get it. And look, I have enough self-awareness here to recognize I'm probably getting a little bit more worked up over this than I should be. But
you're not alone. There's a lot of people that are freaking out about this.
No, you're right. But it's really just I think a broader conversation that needs to be taking place right now. And it's like, Are there no competitive bones in the bodies of baseball people anymore?
I get
Players
that.
and fans alike, where it's like,
that.
come on, man. I get it's Paul Skenes, but channel the appreciation else, like in a different manner, in a different fashion. Like giving the guy standing O as he's walking off your field, it just it seems a little odd. That's all.
I get that.
I don't hate Cardinals fans because of it. I just think the act in and of itself is a little odd. That's all.
I don't fully disagree. I'm just not ready to burn it down.
If I was at that game, not having a dog in the fight, I'm absolutely. I'm going. This is fantastic baseball that I just watched.
Sure.
For 6 1/3, I'm absolutely gonna. But you have literal Cardinals fans tipping their Cardinal caps, birds on bat.
Look, man, I just don't think there's a lot going on in Lou right now. I just don't think it. You know,
which is
the Blues any good? Have the Blues been bad for a while?
But
they haven't had the Rams for years now. They're just a miserable salt of the earth folk. You know what I mean? Like they're.
Or no, that's Nashville. What am I thinking? What am I saying?
Yeah.
Who's that guy? I don't even know if the guy's in the league anymore. The guy she's married to. He's with the Predators, not the Blues. See, they don't even have Carrie Underwood. But I guess that's my point, though. It's like there's not much going on in the Lou, but here come the Pirates of all teams, and they're going to be what gives us the entertainment tonight. It's just it's funny. Like it's odd, it's funny, and depending upon who you root for, it could be a little sad. That's all I'm saying.
I get it. I'm with you.
That's all I'm saying. 20 questions.
Oh man. Active or retired?
Retired.
Hall of Fame or no Hall of Fame?
No Hall of Fame.
I hate these. Outfielder or infielder?
Outfielder.
Retired, not Hall of Fame. Outfielder. MVP or no MVP?
No MVP.
Righty or lefty?
Righty.
Both?
No. Or yeah. Both. Throw, right, and hit. Yeah.
Retired, not Hall of Fame. Right fielder. Center fielder. Left fielder.
Left fielder.
More than 2 All-Star appearances.
Yes. 12, actually.
12 All-Star appearances. Left fielder, right, retired, not Hall of Fame.
You've reached your time limit, so the next question that you ask has to actually be your guess. Just a hint, just a tip. You got to start. You have to start identifying teams quicker.
I think I do. I think you're right.
Less about righty lefty. Get thinking on the teams a little bit.
Okay, 12-time All-Star out of left field, not a Hall of Famer though. This is a mess.
Maybe think of. You know what? I'm feeling a little generous. Maybe think about that possible correlation a little bit. Those things that you just said. Why would that maybe be the case?
Possibly roids? Is that what you're saying?
I just gave you a hint. Your next guess has to be, or the next thing that you propose has to be an answer.
I have a name. I just don't think. Ooh, I got 2 names. Manny
Ramirez.
Hey,
that was it. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I think you
gave me some bones. You threw some bones. You
single-handedly got there because of my roids correlation.
Sure did.
But what was the other name you had in mind?
Alfonso Soriano. But
okay,
like the second base was a lot in the picture too. So
yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder how many All-Star appearances he had.
Yeah, that was the other one too. I didn't think he had 12.
He had 7. Yeah. That's respectful. I don't think I realized he had that many. Wow,
a lot of clubs. I had a soft spot in my heart for Alfonso. I like Soriano.
Yeah.
I
he was a big Nats guy.
He got some rough treatment, getting thrown in the outfield when it wasn't the move.
Yeah.
With like no reason. I don't think there wasn't like any defensive analytics back then. It was just like, we're putting you in left. And no one was down to put him back at second after. It's just really weird. Anywho, Manny, my least favorite player growing up.
Love it. Well, it should have been Ortiz without question, but I'm not going to tell you who your least favorite player should be.
It was Manny. David Ortiz bugged me, but it was Manny. It was Manny.
That's putting it lightly. Ortiz bugged you. I would venture to say he probably brought you to near tears on multiple occasions.
There's probably a few tears.
Wow. That's
the walk off against
very
Mo
lightly
was that one hurt. There's been a lot of moments.
Unreal. Speaking of being hurt, JT Realmuto placed on the 10-day IL. Knee surgery to remove cartilage. I am so glad I've never had such a surgery because that does not sound fun whatsoever. Knees, man, I'm telling you.
Something about knees.
I had a superstition when I was playing that when I was scrolling or something, I see a video and you immediately know that it's like an injury related video. Wouldn't watch it. If I'm watching a sporting event live and they go to replay to show a guy with an injury, I leave the room. Fortunately, I never had any major injuries. I'm not going to say that was the sole reason, but I'm not saying that either.
I watched those a lot, and I blew my knee out. So, there's not saying that, but maybe we're saying that.
Not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But the knee, man, especially as a catcher, this has to suck. I think he's going to miss.
Saw 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
right.
I saw. Yeah, a month plus.
I don't understand the IL thing. How is he allowed to be on the 10-day? Is that just for now? Is that until you move someone else, like from the 60-day, or someone from the 15 to the 60, someone from the 60 back active?
I guess
drop someone from the 40-man. I don't understand it.
The IL is very fascinating. If you look at, there was one guy on here recently that I saw where I'm like, don't know why you're on the 10-day. You're literally out for the season. And it had been like a minute. Oh, Spencer Strider is on the 15-day IL. What is that about? How does that work?
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to pretend to have a deep understanding of how the 15 to 60-day IL process works, but
no. If you're in the chat and please inform us because it confuses me.
Yeah, it seems to me that Spencer Strider maybe shouldn't be on the 15-day IL. Christian Javier 15-day IL, I kind of get because it's a little more fresh, but Spencer Strider,
I think we know.
But yeah, this is a blow for the Phillies. Fortunately, they got enough of a cushion at this point as we approach the middle of June to where they can tread water if they need to. I mean, fortunately, they're playing the Sox, and I mean, talk about a series to get that going. Hold on. Well, I spoke too soon. It was 4-0 Phillies, and now it's 8-4 Red Sox. Not sure how or when that happened.
Threw up a snowman real fast.
All I have to say though, they're okay. They're in a position where they can get by with Stubbs.
I saw he was playing through some stuff. Yeah, like he's had this for a little bit.
Well, I mean, I feel like as a catcher, you just by default, I feel like that's your standard state, your default state is that you're playing through something. And especially if it's knee related, I would venture to say that even if there was a play that took place that was the clear cause of said injury, I'm sure that the state of these guys' knees leading up to those plays probably doesn't help their case or help their situation in that regard. They're probably a little more prone to having an injury like that take place. So it sucks for him, but honestly, for a knee surgery, only missing 4 to 6 weeks, that's got to be like best case scenario, no?
I remember when I was catching in like little league and middle school and stuff, and then you got to that age where you're like knee savers were no longer acceptable. Why? Like,
yeah,
why?
Like, why did we do that? Why did
that Buster Posey was like, screw you guys, I'm wearing these. Like, what's the big deal? I don't understand.
I never caught at a high level. I caught when I was like 10, and I'm like, these are incredible. Like,
these are the move.
Why would we get rid of these?
Why is this less manly than putting a knee down? Why is that accepted? We're just gonna work on framing. No, you're not. You're trying to save your knees, dude. Yeah.
The thing that these wonderful pillows literally do.
They're delightful. They're just delightful. I'm not saying you need to like, there's a guy on, like you still, stick the butt up a little bit and not use them, but like, I don't know, whatever. I think this is a tough blow. This injury is not going to make me overreact. I just don't see it with the Phillies. And I know that's like an unpopular opinion. And I know you're going to be confused.
You're saying like you don't see the path forward for this team? Or they just don't have the it factor?
They're just at like the very end of their peak. Like their core. And like I know that like Alec Boehm is finally coming onto the scene. I think we know what Bryson Stott is. I think we know.
I don't think we do.
I think we know. I don't.
He's taken a huge step forward this year.
I think he's good. I don't think he's ever going to be a league leader, all-star leader kind of guy. I just don't see that.
Bryson Stott is having a fantastic year, and he's when Trey comes back, he's going to be the worst infielder in the infield.
He's doing good, man. He's doing good. I just like Nick Castellanos. What is happening there? Kyle Schwarber is Kyle Schwarber, and like, yeah, he looks like he's slimmed down a little bit, but I'm trying to see the depth, and this gives me like 2010 to 2013 Yankee vibes, where it was like this group of like older veterans that is like you're trying to squeeze some stuff out of him. And it's hard to say that because like Bryce Harper is Bryce Harper. But I don't think anyone can sit here and say Bryce Harper is a top 5 player in the league. I can name 5 more guys. I can absolutely name 5 guys that I would take over Bryce. We know the issues with Kyle Schwarber. Nick Castellanos is a problem. Trey Turner, as much as I love Trey Turner, when we start having health on the lower half and speed is your game, that's going to be a problem. The pitching has been incredible. I think that's the reason they're in this position. But like, as these older guys start to get nicked up and bruised, I don't know if I'm sitting here on June 12th and saying I'm super comfortable with where the Phillies are.
But I guess my question though is, well, also for the record, they have believe they're in the top 5 in all of baseball in runs scored. So it's not just their pitching.
I'm not saying it's bad offense by any means.
No, But I guess what I'm asking is, you've been high on the Phillies.
I love the Phillies vibes.
No. I'm saying, just like generally speaking, you've been like on board with the Phillies the last couple years, and they were, you could argue, lesser of a team in years past because they didn't, in my opinion at least, I don't think that they were getting the quality pitching that they're getting in 2024 in say 2022, 2023. And the offense is still going to be the offense, despite maybe them being a year older and maybe one or two of those guys hitting a little bit of a plateau or even falling off a little bit.
Yeah.
You're still getting Bryce. Trey, when Trey comes back, you're going to get Trey.
But do you get all a Trey? Do you get like full on prime Trey? I'm just like, I'm not able to sit here and just be comfortably saying you're going to be missing your catcher and what I would assume is a pretty big clubhouse leader for 6 weeks and just say like everything's going to be fine. What I'm saying is like the slack needs to be picked up, and who is picking up that slack? Are those guys capable of picking up that slack? Brandon Marsh got off to a hot start. Great. But we've seen enough of his career to be like, this is probably as good as it gets.
I think he's on the IL too.
Right. It's a lot of names that are definitely post 30-year-old vets.
I know, but I guess what I'm saying, it's no different than what we've seen the last 2 years, but their pitching is better. So, like, why all of a sudden now are we dialing it back on the Phillies as one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball?
I'm just saying, like, I love the vibe of Philly. I love what the fans have been. I love the energy in the stadium. I love the mentality in the clubhouse. I love Rob Thompson. Trust me, I love this team. I love everything that's happening with this team. But for me to just sit here and be like, they're absolutely going to roll through teams in the postseason and dominate their way to the World Series, I'm struggling to see that. Unless these names can pick up the slack. But if we're slowly just dropping these names off, and we're at the point of all the weight is on Beharp, Bohm, and Schwarber, it's like, I don't know if I have that kind of faith.
But Trey's almost back too, so you can include him into that group.
If you get normal Trey, which again, lower half, missed time, assume it's going to take another 150 ABs for you to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, but like fast forward to the end of JT's IL stint. You get JT back. At that point, Trey will have been back. Every piece that you get back healthy and in better shape, that's less that each guy has to. That's less of the load that each guy has to shoulder.
I hear you. I get what you're saying, and your argument is that buffer looks good, and this is a great time for, if it's to happen. This is the time for it to happen.
Right, and
I agree.
Your point may end up being valid. Like, we may see a sharper fall off from some of these guys in the lineup as we hit the dog days than maybe I would anticipate. But going back to my original point, like you just said, they're at a place at this point of the season where they can afford that if it so happens.
I just, I think for a Philly fan to sit here and say they're going to have a 10.5 game cushion when they win this division, I don't agree. I don't know. I mean, the Braves don't look
slop right now.
They don't look good. They don't look right. And I agree there.
Offensively, they rank, I think, like in the bottom 5 in almost every major category. I don't know if it's on the season or like the last month and a half, but they have plummeted offensively.
Here's a name for you, just off the top. 2 names. Now, one name. Jacob Stallings with the Rockies. Why not? Like,
maybe it's like a depth piece, but I think they're fine rolling with Stubbs.
Who's the other guy? I don't even know.
I don't know who their third guy is.
And why are they fine with Stubbs? Is Stubbs anything?
I mean, what is Stallings? How much more is Stallings going to offer you?
Stallings was an all-star a couple years ago with the Pirates.
Rafael Marchand is their third guy.
Stubbs hitting 179 with a 4.66 OPS. I'm not saying Jacob Stallings is a world beater by any means, but he's capable of a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess.
295, 3 home runs, got an 823 OPS.
I'm seeing 289, but still, yeah.
You know, the Rockies aren't doing anything.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't know for that. Yeah, I just don't know for that timetable if they're interested.
If it's needed,
doing all that.
Yeah. I don't know. MLB Network was like showing like throwback days of Schwarber and Bryce Harper catching, and they were like, "Oh, never know." And I'm like, "What?"
Put Schwarber behind a dish,
bro.
He can hold his own. He can do it.
Trade for Kenley Jansen and put him back there.
Yeah. Hey, people forget, man. People forget.
Team Netherlands, baby.
They go, why would you put Kenley Jansen behind the plate? Look it up. A lot of people don't even know. Speaking of not knowing, this anonymous poll put out by The Athletic. Oh, look at that. Look at that transition.
That's spotless.
Thank you. They put out the poll earlier this week. You and I were talking about it. I think
I eat this stuff up.
Oh yeah. In a day and age where people I feel like are less inclined to put their name to what they say.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna let it eat when under the cover of anonymity.
I love this.
But you and I were talking, and I think in years past, the only real highlight that has come from these articles is like, oh, who do people think is the most overrated player? That's usually the talking point.
Mm-hmm.
But I sent you the article, and I said, man, there's some. I'm glad I looked beyond just the overrated conversation, because that was floating around on social because Juan Soto, I believe, had received a vote, and that's what everybody was talking about. But I'm glad I read through the rest, because I sent it to you and I was like, dude, there's some really good stuff in here.
There's some good,
some
good
answers, polls. some explanations to the answers. I say it's good stuff. Depending upon who you're a fan of, it may rub you the wrong way, but it's fascinating none the least. But again, they put out a poll recently that was derived from the survey that they produced in the spring, or that they ran, the survey that they ran over the spring. I guess it was during spring training when it's easier to get those guys. They interviewed, I want to make sure I got the numbers here right. They interviewed more than 100 players, almost evenly split between the AL and NL. Across 18 teams, granted them anonymity to get their unfiltered takes on some of the biggest and most controversial storylines in baseball. That's according to the New York Times. I figure we could just run through this briefly and just talk a little bit more in depth about some of these questions, because like I said, the one that was getting talked about the most was who's the most overrated. But again, as I mentioned, there's some interesting questions in here. The first question, who is the best player in baseball? As you would guess, majority voted Shohei Ohtani. I think Acuna received some votes, and Judge was on there as well. Let me pull up these answers so I'm getting them right. Judge was on there as well, and you may wonder, well, like why is Judge beneath Ohtani? It's like, well, this was in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before Judge.
Acuna's pretty high too. Got 26% of the votes.
26.5%. The second question, who is the most overrated player? This one was the one that was interesting. And it wasn't even the fact that Soto received a vote, or it wasn't only that Soto received a vote. It was some of the other names that were on there that were raising some eyebrows, I will say. Like Emmanuel Clase received a vote.
Crazy.
Rafael Devers received a vote. Spencer Strider received a vote, which Yoshinobu Yamamoto received a vote, which again, if this is like pre-sample size, like giving him a chance to build a resume, then I could understand maybe why Yamamoto got a vote. But even then, wasn't he like a 3-time Cy Young, like the Japanese equivalent of a Cy Young winner?
I think he won
there?
an MVP too.
Like whatever their top award, their top honor is. I think he won it like 3 times. So not quite sure why that was on there. Anthony Rendon being second on that list, I can certainly understand.
That adds up.
That adds up.
Honestly, Correa adds up. Tim Anderson adds up.
Did I mention Jazz being the first answer? For those who haven't seen the poll, Jazz was at the top.
By like a big margin, too. 20% of the votes. Rendon is only at 10%.
Yeah, half of
second place. So
Correa, Tim Anderson, Jack Flaherty, Peter. Honestly, I don't hate, like, at the risk of maybe rubbing some people the wrong way, I don't hate the names that are on this list. Like I could see the path for each one of these guys being on the. That is the bar graph answers. The ones that were at the bottom in the fine print that received 1 vote. That's where I had a little bit of a
Flaherty. My boy Jack Flaherty just shoving everybody this year, just proving everybody wrong.
Yeah,
but what's crazy is that
Cruz,
if this was taken in the spring training, like an unnecessary ricochet, I feel like for my boy Jack, like I don't think he's on anyone's radar before this season.
No,
like no one's rating him that high.
Well, it said the article said this spring over the course of 2.5 months. So I don't know if that means leading up to opening day or if that includes part of the regular season. I just assumed it included spring training because it's easier to, with media and those guys, it's much easier to get your material at spring training. That's why I assumed.
Sure.
So I don't know how much of the season had already happened at the time of this survey.
Yeah. To be fair, there's only 59 votes on this specific one of the overrated players.
Which was worth noting that not as many guys wanted to vote on this because I don't think that they wanted to they didn't want to talk poorly about any of their.
It's a brotherhood in certain ways,
Yeah. What was the quote that was getting tossed around on Soto about it being like a spite pick or something? You know what I'm talking about?
What?
About Soto.
What do you mean, quote?
There's
in the article?
Yeah, it said in regards to whoever picked Soto, the person said, could be a spite pick, to be honest. I feel like all he does is walk and hit singles and doesn't hit for power like he's portrayed. Also not a good fielder.
I think we can relax on that. The guy's a lock for the Hall of Fame. Whatever. That sounds awfully jelly. Just a whole lot of jealousy there.
This one was an interesting one. I thought that they put out, putting aside their stats and going solely on vibes. Who do you want most on your team?
I like that one.
And in parentheses, it said must be someone the player's not friends with, doesn't know well.
Trying to find that one. Where'd it go?
Mookie Betts received the top number of votes. He was at 12.6%. Shohei was at 6.3. Acuna was 4.2. Bryce was 4.2. Judge 4.2. Schwarber 4.2. Trout 3.1. I thought it was an interesting question, but I wasn't thrilled with the responses. I'm like, okay, are we just picking like the MVP front runners and like previous winners? It said the question was going solely on vibes. So like for you, if you were in the clubhouse, like who is that for you?
Vibes wise, I mean, like I think Kike is probably a great pick. I think. I mean, Mookie's obviously a great pick. Liam Hendricks, I saw, got a vote. Like,
I love that pick.
Yeah, I would.
Friend of the pod.
I would probably lean that way. Freddie, I feel like would be, just guys that like I get, because Mookie just doesn't ever seem to get down. The guy's just so positive, and he's like also super professional without being like a hardo at the same time. You know what I mean? He's got that perfect mix.
He's got a brand to uphold.
I understand Mookie. I don't know if I fully understand like Shohei is just like, what vibe do you give off? Like, am I missing something here? Like, you don't give me much. I just see like a lot of like, you're super respectful. Like but you're just like, what are you providing with vibes?
I mean, I do see clips of him, like, the whole, like the classic, take a bubble gum chewed up bubble and stick it on a guy's hat. Like, he's done stuff like that, and he goofs around with guys like during the game and stuff. So I get that, but to your point, I don't know if I'd have, what was it? What did I say? He was at 2. Like, I don't know if I'm putting him at 2.
Lance Lynn being on this list is pretty surprising.
That's got to be a thing where it's like
a bulldog. You need one of those guys that's like, I want you on my team because no one's gonna do anything. Like, if we're going into retired, like CC, like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's coming after you. Like, you're that like big bear. So
what's kind of like the thing with Mookie that I've never been a huge fan of is because he has this like image to protect. Like,
there's no edge,
like literally and physically. Like, I don't think Mookie's trying to mess up that face. He's out there in Hollywood now. He ain't trying to mess that up.
Yeah.
And watching him for the years that I did, he was never going to be the guy at the top step. He was never going to be the first out to a scuffle.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's hard for me if I'm bringing in a guy for like vibes and to be like a teammate that I want alongside me.
I would say, Rizzo. If we're just going vibes, I think Rizzo's a good pick too. Like, the guy just has fun. I like Rizzo and Freddie are like some names to me.
Yeah.
Like Freddie's like a superstar, but like doesn't big league anybody, it seems,
Yeah. I love Liam as a pick though. That's
Liam's
very underrated.
Liam's like one of my favorite people I've ever met. Like, that guy's awesome. That guy's super cool.
There was a question about, it said, evaluate this statement. Anthony Rendon was right. The season is too long.
Love this. 68% saying no. I wonder what that number is if you just take Anthony Rendon out of it. And if you just say, is the season too long? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But going back to the whole like spite thing, like I would venture to say that they see the name Anthony Rendon.
That's what I'm saying.
This guy sucks.
I'm going to disagree with him. So remove that. I wonder what the numbers would be if it's just like, is the season too long?
Some of the responses were funny though. It's like, I've never been a position player, so I can't comment on how they feel after an entire season, but 32 plus starts is perfect. Somebody said, F that, I get paid more. Somebody said, which I would love to know who said this, but somebody said, we've been doing this for 150 years. Anyone who complains is soft.
Oh, yes, dude.
Like, tell me who said that.
That's great.
some of the responses that said yes. To be fair, like I disagree. Like I think as a fan, at least from my point of view, I love the fact that it's 162. And I think some people alluded to that, like where it separates us from the rest of the sports, which I agree with. But I was able to at least empathize with some of the responses for yes, because there was logic provided. Like somebody said, I think maybe we could use like 15 fewer games and start camp later. Spring training is too long. Somebody said he's right. I think cut out like 10 games. That's all. Nothing crazy. I think September gets a little washy at the end, which I kind maybe not like maybe not the end of September, but like it does reach that point in like late August, September, where it's like, well, okay, what are we really doing here?
Yeah.
We don't need this. So yeah, like I appreciated the responses for both, even though I do disagree. One of the questions was, which team would you sign with if contracts, state taxes, and rosters were not a factor? I loved that question.
What's left? Are you just choosing like fan base and stadium?
Just like literally anything else, like
in Jersey, I guess.
City, uniforms, the historical side of things, like the richness of the team's history. Fans.
Braves leading it at 12% of the votes.
You want to go ahead and tell me who's second on that list?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox make sense.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted you to say it. That's all.
Yeah.
Just wanted you to say it. 9.3% for the Sox. Dodgers coming in at 8.1. Rangers at 8.1. Yankees at 6.9. Cubs at 6.9. I will say, of all of those teams,
the Arizona Diamondbacks really surprised me. As that has to be like proximity to spring training. You know what I mean? Like,
probably, yeah. Maybe some golf fans in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say, like, if you make the cutoff at the Cubs, who are at 6.9, and the Padres are below them at 5.8. But if you go Braves, Red Sox, Dodgers, Rangers, Yankees, Cubs, one of those to me doesn't really belong, and it's the Rangers.
It's the Rangers.
If you're looking at that list, the common denominator there is like, okay, we're talking about like some pretty historical franchises that have seen depending upon how you want to characterize it, have seen success in a variety of ways.
You know what this could be? No, because like the Red Soxes are a mess. I was going to say like front office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the common denominator just seems like they went these votes went the historical route, and the Rangers kind of just stand out a little bit to me there.
I agree.
I think there were some other questions, but they were more like player targeted.
I like the one. Are you in favor or opposed to MLB adopting the salary cap and floor system used in other major sports leagues? 71% are opposed to that. 71.
Yeah.
These boys are just trying to get their bags, bro.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure. The one on the Olympics I thought was interesting, and we can kind of, I guess, close it out with that. But the question was, should MLB shut down midseason so players can participate in the 2028 Summer Olympics in LA?
It's actually a close vote.
Yeah.
90 guys voted on it, and it's a 53 to 46 and change vote. On the favor of no. Do not want to shut it down.
Majority want no.
Majority want no. A mid-season shutdown's pretty crazy.
Yeah, somebody that voted yes said if there's a way they could get rid of the All-Star game that year, that would be pretty cool. It's a unique opportunity, and now that baseball is back in the Olympics, I feel like guys would want to do it.
I wouldn't hate that either, to be honest with you. You would have to get rid of the All-Star game,
which they wouldn't do. We know, we've seen, they've proven it to us time and time again, and I really don't think there are any exceptions anymore with Major League Baseball. When it comes to making money, they're gonna opt to make money.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10. So to rid the league of the All-Star game in 2028 is just not happening.
It's just tough, man, because like if you host, like if one of your stadiums is hosting, how is that any different?
Where even are the Olympics in 2028? It
says LA.
Oh, right. Yeah, in LA. Yeah. I mean, that's
like have some games with the Angels, some games with the Dodgers.
I guess I would be curious to see what the money breakdown would be for like if Major League Baseball gets any of that at all.
Yeah, and what would be sick is that let's like these boys are in mid-season form, literally. Like that's we get the World Baseball Classic where like the cobwebs are still there and the rust is still there that they're having to shake off. This would be middle of the season. Boys are, already 300 ABs in. Be nice. I'd be intrigued. That's a closer vote than you think.
Yeah, it's an intriguing question, an intriguing thought. I'm not
great article though. Great polls. Good for
very
the
solid
Athletic.
questions.
Yeah.
Speaking about journalism, real quick, this whole Buster Olney getting hacked thing, hilarious,
amazing.
Although I think the theme of this whole mishap, or the takeaway rather, that people seem to agree on, and I would have to agree myself, is that whoever did this hacking outed themselves right away that they had hacked Buster Olney, and then immediately start going into into trade alerts or like trade notifications. And I'm like, you blew this whole thing. If you just would have went into the account,
you would have blown the baseball world up.
I mean,
the one where they said Shohei's going to jail.
Yeah, like you could make the argument that like, yeah, that could be believable to maybe to some, like if maybe more evidence was revealed overnight and like, whoa, he's going to jail.
Read some tweets for anybody that didn't see this and lives under a rock.
Yeah, so the Shohei one, again, whoever this was came out and was like, oh, I've hacked Buster Olney. I don't even know who Buster Olney is. And then proceeds to just start ripping off these tweets. A couple of them. Shohei Ohtani has been banned for life from the MLB in connection to charges with gambling. His trial is August 28th. It is speculated that he could get life in prison. Some are far more believable than others. Like this one caused other. I at least know of one or two that posted about it, and maybe others did and quickly deleted it once they realized. But this one had people flipping out. The Philadelphia Phillies and Chicago White Sox are finalizing a deal that would send star outfielder Luis Robert Jr. to Philadelphia, sources tell ESPN. Like that
one.
If you hack the account, drop that, and dip, you've done your job.
Yeah, like you've set that afire for sure.
Like what are we doing?
That's rolling. The one that had me double take to like pick up my phone was Lindor to the A's.
The New York Mets are finalizing a deal that will send Francisco Lindor to the Oakland Athletics.
I had to be like, hold on.
Pump the brakes.
Let me dive in real quick.
Baltimore Orioles are relocating to Las Vegas, and the Oakland A's will stay in Oakland. The season is canceled due to COVID. There were some others in there, but then they just drop okay, if I get an unlimited prison sentence, who will come and bring panties?
Some out-of-pocket comments for sure.
Out of pocket, off-brand with the rest of what you put out there with your hacking. But,
obviously, Buster Olney has deleted his stuff, so I'm sure you can find that.
And such a loser move. Like, okay, that was a little strong. I don't mean to come at Buster Olney like that, but Guy didn't lean into it at all that I saw. I went back to his account, not a mention, not like I got hacked, blah, blah, blah. It was just like immediately going into Yankees, Dodgers, or that may have been tweeted before, but looking at his account right now, not a mention of it. I'm like,
no sense of humor. I think that's pretty
dude.
Clear.
Like,
I think if it happened to Tim Kirchin, my man would have thrown some stuff out there. Kenny Rosenthal would have for sure throwing some jokes out there. Buster was not having it.
Lame. Speaking of lame, is that how we feel about the Minnesota Twin City Connects, or do we like them? Go ahead and say it.
I don't hate them.
I don't hate them.
I don't hate them.
That was my. I'm at the point now with these City Connects, and I may have mentioned this before.
If you just show me some creativity, I'm in.
Well, not even that, but if I'm going solely off initial reaction now. Like I don't even care anymore about like what the what the connection is. I'm just like, okay, if I can look at it immediately and go, okay, I see that they tried. I see that an effort was made. Then I'm like, all right, I don't hate it. And when I saw these, I'm like, okay, it doesn't just say Minnesota across the chest. Like there was an effort made here.
Yeah.
They obviously making a little bit of or rather a larger, more direct connection to the lakes.
I like that. Yeah. I like the bill had like the topography of one of the lakes and underneath, right?
The underbill had it was like like the lake. Yeah.
I don't hate it. I really didn't. I'm not gonna sit here and say I love it and it's the best one. I don't hate it. Pretty cool.
An effort was at least made, it seems.
Yeah.
We're at the point now where you can really start drawing a line between ones that they spent more than 20 minutes on and ones that they didn't. And I feel like this one was one that maybe they spent more than 20 minutes on.
I'm cool with it.
They didn't just slap Minnesota across.
Yeah.
Although I thought it was interesting though that isn't that I'm just thinking of like the state versus city thing. Like I know they're Minnesota Twins and all that, but they are called City Connect, and I feel like some of these teams are just going more like state broad, or like more broadly the state angle versus not. It's not the end of the world either way. I just thought it was interesting. Really leaning into the lake stuff, which again, don't hate it.
Think of like the other. We get the Rangers for Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if you're not explicitly listed as a city team and you're more like a state team, then I guess you're kind of handcuffed there. So it's not a huge deal, but just throwing it out there. Last thing we got before we get out of here, weekend series to watch. I got a doozy here.
I should go first then, because mine's
go ahead.
Whatever.
What do you got? What do you got for us to watch this weekend?
Mine's just a choice.
This is similar to what was it? Was it this past weekend where it was Yankees Dodgers? And I was like,
I don't remember what you picked. Did you pick anything?
I don't even think I picked anything. I had to pick by default the London series.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, I wouldn't have picked anything because you shouldn't really need to be watching any other series other than Yankees Dodgers last weekend. But
yeah,
it's kind of the same thing here, and you'll see why.
Give me the Rangers Aren't Dead Yet series going to Seattle. I managed to stumble my way into another Apple TV series, so I apologize. That starts Friday. Got Heaney going against Kirby. Saturday's on Fox. Eovaldi and Logan Gilbert. I think that's the one.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that's the one to tap into. And then Dane Dunning going against for the Rangers, going against somebody named Undecided for the Mariners. I'm excited to see what Undecided can do.
Big.
See if he's got some things we haven't seen yet.
Huge.
3-game set.
Huge. 3-game set for me as well, and it is between two of baseball's best, the Phillies and the Orioles. Phillies are going to be in town in Baltimore.
Are you going to go?
Dude, I was looking at tickets, but when I mentioned that, was it last episode? I think I alluded to the fact that this. Oh, right, because I was talking about how I haven't been to a game yet.
Yeah,
and I mentioned that the Phillies were coming to Baltimore.
Tickets are outrageous.
When I said that, I completely forgot that they're sold out. Like they made that announcement like a week before. I think it was the Saturday, which I can't make it to Friday night, but I think they said Saturday and Sunday already sold out. So I'm like, they're going to be insane, even if you can find them aftermarket or whatever.
Well, you might know somebody that you could reach out to. It's hard to say.
It's been a minute since we talked to that particular individual. I'm not about to just hit him up and be like, yo, Phillies O's.
I think I'm going to text him and tell him that we're calling him out now. I think we're just going to openly call him out on episodes until we hear his voice again.
Until he finally decides to.
I don't know, when was the last time we had Ryan? Was it the bold predictions episode?
Was it the first episode of the season?
My man had made his way through a tequila bottle a little bit further than we expected he would.
Unreal, man. We'd been hyping that. We'd been like, Ryan, look, it's our biggest episode of the year. Like, without a doubt, we need you on your A game. And he shows up like half drunk. I don't know. I'm speculating.
Midnight. I'm not. I think that was very, very much the case.
I suppose. Phillies and O's. Game 1, 7:05 on Friday. Ranger Suarez versus Kyle Bradish. Game 2, Kyle Bradish.
That could be the one.
Game 2. Oh, no. Oh, no.
This
no.
the one?
No, not this one. Game 3. Game 2, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. That's Taijuan Walker versus Grayson Rodriguez. And Game 3, pending any changes. Game 3, 1:35 p.m. How this isn't Sunday Night Baseball, I don't know. Game 3, 1:35, Zach Wheeler versus Corbin Burns.
Unbelievable.
Appointment television. There have been some excellent pitching matchups this far in the season. And we're not even halfway through June yet. And there have been some excellent matchups. I love it.
What are we doing? What is the Sunday night game?
Please tell
my
me.
game. I think it's my game. No, it's not my game. It's not my game.
Oh, it's probably Yankees Red Sox, isn't it?
It is.
Oh my
gosh, dude. Give it up.
What are we doing? Give it up, ESPN. Nobody wants to watch the Yankees and Red Sox anymore. And that's coming from Yankees and Red Sox fans here.
This has been dead for like 12 years.
And they're still trying to hype it up. I saw the promo for it before we hopped on. It was a commercial, and they were like, this historic matchup returns. I'm like, historic is really the only thing you can label it now, because
I know
it's not doing anything for the here and now.
Painful.
Unreal.
ESPN just couldn't be more tone deaf.
Boycott Sunday Night Baseball. And if you were only going to watch one game in it, maybe in addition to your favorite team's game on Sunday, if you're gonna test the waters, hey, you know what? It's the weekend. I'll watch a second baseball game today because I got the time. Make it this one. Game 3 of the Phillies O's series, 1:35 p.m. Eastern. Zach Wheeler, Corbin Burns. Make it happen.
Big time.
That's all I got.
I love that. We rolled deep. We rolled deep for the midweek. You're welcome. We love you. We appreciate you. Like, comment, review, subscribe, recommend, refer. Hashtag buzzwords. Don't go chasing curveballs.
Love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.